Welcome to the machine.
Hello everyone, I'm Shaolin Rogue, and welcome to episode 4 of the War Robots Boot Camp. In this final installment of the Boot Camp series, we'll be demonstrating the weapons you're already familiar with from previous episodes, using the 4 medium-class, silver-grade robots you have access to early in the game. The first robot that you can buy is the Vitez, and it's a solid and flexible investment. The Vitez is a well-balanced robot with decent health, speed, and firepower. The gun placement on the Vitez is ideal for shooting from behind cover, making it an effective mid to long range mobile sniper. Use the speed of the Vitez to reposition between shots to apply pressure where it's needed the most. You won't score a lot of damage if you're standing around waiting for your targets to come into your line of fire. Keep yourself moving, and always try to have your target lined up for your next shot as soon as your weapon's ready to fire. The Vitez has a compact body and a fairly quick turret speed, and it can outmaneuver bulkier opponents in tight spaces. I'd recommend using the Vitez's maneuverability and gun placement to your advantage by trying to force your opponent into a corner fight, favoring your power side. The Vitez is well suited to both conservative and aggressive playstyles. It not only makes it an effective mid to long range support bot, but is also an excellent robot for leading the charge to the enemy spawn and quickly ending a match. Up next is the second robot available for you to purchase, the fearsome Golem. Compared to the Vitez, the Golem has less health and speed in favor of more firepower, with 1 light, 1 medium, and 1 heavy hardpoint, giving it roughly the same potential firepower as a Leo. The lack of available long-range medium weapons makes the Golem better suited for the mid to short combat zones. Even though the Golem falls behind the Vitez in health and speed as they level, it's always an effective robot on the battlefield, as the firepower available to the Golem allows you to suppress the enemy as they try to make their way across the battlefield. As the old saying goes, the best defense is a strong offense. Speaking of a strong offense, it's time to have a look at the Golem's short game. The Golem is ferocious in close quarters and is able to decimate enemy robots very quickly. Again, similar to the Leo, the Golem's body is wider and it takes longer to bring its weapons to bear than its counterparts, making it slightly less agile in close quarters than the Vitez or Patton. The Golem makes up for this with the wide spread of its weapons, giving it powerful corner shooting options on both sides. An unnoticed and unchecked Golem can wreak havoc on the battlefield and turn the momentum in a short amount of time. Next up is a robot that I don't have a lot of personal experience with other than against them in combat, the GI Patton. The GI Patton has 4 light weapon hardpoints, giving it the ability to score a ton of damage in a single salvo or lay down withering suppressive fire. Whichever flavor of Patton you choose, it is usually most effective to stack 4 of the same weapon, making combat easier to manage with identical projectile travel and reload times. A good example is the corner shoot required by AT spirals and aphids. It can be difficult to synergize with line of sight type weapons. Another excellent mid-range support option for the GI Patton is the Malot. Almost as effective as a Griffin, a quad Malot Patton is excellent for posting up and watching critical pathways and open areas on the map. You can definitely Swiss cheese small and medium robots in short order with 4 Malots firing away. For our final mid-range option on the Patton, we'll be having a look at the pin. The quad pin Patton is played very similar to the dual pin Destrier that you may recall from episode 1. You'll want to locate cover and step out to fire, popping back to cover waiting for your weapons to reload. As with any other mid-range support weapon, use your reload time to line up your next target. Moving into close quarters, we'll have a look at the Quad Punisher GI pattern. The constant stream of bullets and damage from 4 Punishers will take down enemy robots extremely fast and will often send them running for cover as soon as they see you coming. This is a fun setup and I highly recommend that you give it a try. The final weapon we'll be looking at on the pattern will be the fearsome Quad Pinata. 4 Pinatas have a ton of burst damage and can severely cripple, if not completely destroy, enemy robots in a single volley. Employ the same hit and run tactics that you do with the pin. Also in close quarters, it's very effective to try and lead your enemy around corners, taking advantage of the splash of the Pinata to hit and run before they can bring their weapons to bear on you. In my opinion, this is one of the best low-level setups on the pattern, and I definitely recommend you make this a part of your hangar. As I mentioned before, I haven't spent much time in a pattern myself, but whenever I see one with 4 of the same weapon, I know that it's very dangerous, and I always make it a priority to take it out as soon as possible. The final robot we will be covering in the boot camp series will be the Rugged Boa. Available at level 8, the Boa is quite possibly the best all-around robot in the game. A max level Boa has a heavy robot size health pool, third behind the Leo and the Rajan at max health, and they can still be seen in use in top tier matches. The combined speed and health of the Boa more than makes up for what seems like a lack of firepower, and this robot is definitely worth the resources and time to level up, arm, and pilot effectively. The short and narrow body of the Boa further adds to its survivability, allowing it to make use of cover that would leave larger, bulkier robots exposed. Another key factor to the Boa's longevity is the placement of the medium weapon hardpoint. The Boa is able to safely blast away with its secondary weapon while its body is well hidden behind cover, allowing it to halt an enemy advance in its tracks. Like the Golem, the lack of long-range weapons for the medium hardpoint limits the Boa's effectiveness in this role. While it can perform well with a Columbus or Malat, you will see that the impact the Boa has on the battlefield raises dramatically as we switch to higher damage close-range weapons, where the Boa's huge health pool and speed can be used to break the enemy's front lines. The Thunder Punisher Boa gives you enough damage and sustained firepower to shred the enemy team in minutes. At this level of competition, it's so much more effective than everything else. You can single-handedly turn the tide of a match, and you'll find that more often than not, you'll be sitting at the top of the damage charts at the end of the battle. If an aggressive in-your-face style of play is what you're after, then the Boa is definitely the bot for you. With so much health, speed, and agility, you'll be able to easily take down multiple enemies, with plenty of hit points left over to face the second wave. That brings us to the end of the War Robots Boot Camp series, and by now you should be well prepared to excel in the early game. I learned a lot and had a lot of fun putting this together, and I hope new pilots find this tutorial informative and at least somewhat entertaining. Please drop me a comment below and let me know if you found this series helpful, and let me know which early robot and weapon combinations you have found success with. Be sure to check out the other videos on the Machine channel for gameplay footage, strategy tips, and weekly highlights from the test server. Once again, I'm Shaolin Rogue, and thanks for joining me at War Robots Boot Camp.